It's Friday, January 27, and time for your Barbados Today morning update. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Public servants must get a pay raise too. That's the position of the umbrella body of trade unions in response to this week's decision by government lawmakers to restore the 10% cut to salaries of parliamentarians and senior civil servants. Without commenting on the fairness of the vote, the president of the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, Cedric Murrell, says the move is a clear indication that the economy is in a position to afford an increase for public sector workers.
It's probably better for us to interpret that that is a signal that our economy can afford to provide some type of increase. So we are looking at it from the point of view that if that can happen, then as unions, we expect that when we go forward, that we'll be suitably able to get an increase. I don't want to because I understand what has happened, and here I'm not speaking in any partisan way about whether that should be restored or not, because if there were public workers, we would have been fighting for the restoration of what what was given up. So we're not involved in that dialogue at all. But what we are saying is, if the parliamentarians believe that the country can now relax itself, then we are taking the cue and we are saying we would want that you would treat to our representation similarly.
There's more reaction to Prime Minister Freundel Stewart's pronouncements on the state of the island's economy. The opposition Barbados Labour Party is dismissing his upbeat economic outlook as one that is not grounded in reality. BLP candidate for St. Michael South Central, Marshall Cardle, says the Prime Minister is resting the country's economic fortunes on deals that are yet to be finalized.
This is a critical concern, notwithstanding government's counting of chickens that are not yet hatched in the form of the BNTCL sale, which, as you will note, is still under consideration by the Fair Trading Commission. And private capital projects that have been so mired in delays and public objection that one can hardly have any hope that they will be realized in time to make any difference. Even so, the anticipated increase of $250 million to the stock of foreign reserves, given the country's current debt crisis, is insufficient to give any long-term relief or improved outlook. But above all else, the Prime Minister must know that hope is not a strategy.
Meantime, the Prime Minister says the necessary information regarding the sale of the Barbados National Terminal Company Limited is now in the hands of the Fair Trading Commission. The FTC will decide whether or not the Sol group of companies will take over the oil facility. Stewart told this week's Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry luncheon at the Hilton Barbados Resort he was confident of a favorable decision soon.
The Fair Trading Commission is having a look at the arrangement, and I think it is in possession of all the information it needs. I am not aware that it's waiting on anything. So we await the outcome of the Fair Trading Commission's deliberations. But Barbados National Oil Company is still going to be responsible for the importation of all fuel into Barbados. BNTC has a storage facility, and therefore I think that once the FTC sorts itself out and comes to its own conclusions, we should be able to see a clear way forward. I'm optimistic that we'll get this out of the way, but of course I don't want to say anything or even sound as though I'm saying anything that could even remotely be construed as my trying in any way to influence what the FTC does.
The controversial Hyatt-centric resort project seems set to face a legal hurdle. Social activist David Commission yesterday signaled intentions to carry out his threat to seek a court injunction stopping any work from taking place on the 12-story property. It comes a day after Prime Minister Frondo Stewart all but guaranteed he would grant permission for construction of the hotel on Lower Bay Street in the city.
I have said that this decision is wrong. It is politically wrong, it is sociologically wrong, it is procedurally wrong, it is ethically wrong, and I believe it is also legally wrong. In 2017, any town and country planning department or any minister with responsibility for town and country planning has a duty where an application for a major project of this nature is made, has a duty to carry out an environmental impact assessment. And a critical component of any environmental impact assessment worth its salt is a consultation with the people.
In sports, teenage opener Amir Django struck his second successive half-century as combined colleges and campuses Marooners defeated ICC Americas by 7 wickets to post their second win of the Regional Super50 Tournament yesterday. Chasing a paltry 182 for victory at the Windward Cricket Ground, Marooners cruised to their target in the 46th over, with the 19-year-old Django hitting a top score of 52. Kyle Corbin carried his side over the line with an unbeaten 47, while Cassius Burton struck 38 and captain Jamal Smith 36. Fast bowler Keon Harding had earlier produced a superb 10-over spell of 2 for 27 to help restrict ICC Americas to 181 for 9 of their 50 overs.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper, get your paper. Only 225, 220. Who? For what? That's Bear Stare News. I don't read about that from Barbados today since last night. That can't only can't do. 220. Who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, St. Lucia records its 10th murder for the year. According to this report from HTS News Force, it appears the victim was executed.
An unmasked gunman walked up to Pave resident Peter Daisy, commonly known as Chopman, and reportedly opened fire from point-blank range. At the time of the fatal shooting, Daisy was seated in a parked vehicle on Lower Mondador Road near the inner-city residential communities of Rosehill and Wilton's Yard. The middle-aged shooting victim was executed, sustaining an apparent gunshot wound to the head. Crime scene investigators and homicide detectives in the Major Crimes Unit were dispatched to the gory scene just after 5 p.m. Thursday, January 26. Residents were too distraught to comment. Peter Daisy was reportedly employed with retail home appliance giant Quartz Limited. The cold-blooded killing of Peter Daisy has taken the homicide toll to 10 in January.
And finally, Brazil's health ministry orders 11.5 million doses of yellow fever vaccine amid the largest outbreak of the disease in the country since 2000. There are 70 confirmed cases of the mosquito disease, including 40 deaths, most of them from the rural areas of the state of Minas Gerais. Over 300 more cases are being investigated. Most of Brazil is considered at risk from yellow fever, but the country has only seen a handful of cases in recent years. And on that note, we come to the end of our news and sports update. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izubi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good morning.